Those were my favorite.
Okay.
War movies.
Apocalypse Now. Only that.
My dad brought me to see Full Metal Jacket.
That's
When I was like,
tough. It's a tough sell.
it's a hell of a movie.
Was that
Huh?
before age?
I don't remember about how old I was, but I was not 18.
I don't
That's
think
for
so.
sure.
No, I don't think you could be.
No. All right.
No, especially, I mean, just doing the math now.
Do you know
Hi.
the movie?
What?
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut up.
Hi, my name's Jay. I had my wisdom teeth out on a Wednesday, so I'm a little loopy still, but that's okay. Welcome to the Monday edition of the podcast, where we talk about all things real estate. Big day here, big day across Quebec, October 3rd, election night, where you can head to the polling stations and vote for the new. Are we going to get a new leader tonight? Is that the consensus?
It seemed like it went faster.
Well, we were very busy.
Maybe that's why, but it seemed like just quicker.
It's possible.
What do you think, Mike? Tell us.
Well, I think that people should exercise their right to vote.
I wonder if the polls are based on the polls, if there's going to be more votes this year or not. You must know this.
So far it looks like so far I don't even have anything in front of me, but I do know that there maybe there could be change in the air, which would be problematic to the CAC for sure. Of course, throughout the pandemic, major leadership, but also major scandal. So we'll see what that does. But yeah, if you are going to be voting, you've not done your voting, you have until 8 p.m. and your employer must exercise 4 hours for you to go and vote.
Is it 4 hours?
It's 4 hours. Yeah,
wow.
4 hours. So your polling stations. So we put it up on the quad at the very bottom for your polling station. Go and check out the button at the bottom. Put in your postal code. If you don't have your papers with you, well, you can go through there. Bring a piece of ID, 2 pieces, to be able to accomplish that tonight. Housing, a big part on the.
Well, it's been a hot topic for the last 2 years.
Yep.
And I feel bad about it. I do. I feel bad. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, we didn't have much money to do much of anything, let alone buy a house.
When you think of the how of an important thing housing is for everybody, it should be part of the conversation.
But how do you control it? If I said to you, Etienne, you can buy this house right now for $340,000, made up number, obviously. But if I said you could buy it, and then I said in 10 years, well, you can sell it, but you can't sell it for more than $50,000 and you paid. Where does that stand?
Yeah, no, you don't want to start
every single thing that we have.
It's a complicated matter. This when you start looking at all the different possibilities of if we do this, if we implement that rule, or what about this, and to try to help this group versus that group. There's always going to be. It's a quite challenging. It's a dangerous topic. I think
it's a dangerous topic, and I don't think it's that linear. Obviously, we look for like this social housing and different ways to be able to do that, but then that puts people in boxes, right? And that's what we don't want to do, and that's what we're learning more and more with our politicians. We don't want to do that. We want to be inclusive. How do we make it all pulled together?
Mike.
Housing's
I'm just happy I'm not in politics because it's a complicated.
What I don't understand is why people aren't exercising their right to vote anymore.
What do you mean?
Like a lot of people are not voting. They said voting has gone low.
But that's what I was asking. Yeah. Do we know what they're expecting the participation?
When we look at Gabriel Nadeau-Dubois, okay, here's a guy who was a Carré Rouge, who was famous for all the walkouts from the universities in 2010, 2011. Here's somebody who's taken a political stance at a very young age, who is bipart in with Québec Solidaire. He is the face of Québec Solidaire. And he is somebody who is looking for constant change, who also has a youth vote. So that youth vote is for a good part, a walkout vote.
But what does that represent? What is the participation in previous years? Because they always.
I don't know, but they're saying that it's usually most older people that vote, and the thoughts of younger people is like nothing's going to change anyway. Everyone's on the same team.
Is that true though? Because based on what you were saying,
if I look at the way that we are structured, I'm happier to be here in Canada than I am in the States. You know, we have enough people to be able to have a choice for, as opposed to my sister who's in Texas, who gets the really
two
big
parties.
You know, one guy who's asleep at the and the other guy who's stealing documents from wherever else. Anyways, touchy to say the least.
Yeah.
It's something that we all have to exercise, and I do agree. Exercise your vote tonight, because there's a lot on the block. We got education, we got health, we got housing, we've got and our very own rights. Your religious rights are on the table, as we've seen. So go and do that tonight. I'll be doing it when I get out of here for sure. Very exciting stuff. Today I spoke to one of our newer brokers who said to me, Jay, you never guess what? I said, what? And you know that when you hear that voice from somebody he's got a sale for sure. He says to me, he goes, I got an accepted offer. I said, you did? So that's fantastic.
Do you remember, Mike, your first accepted offer?
Yes.
The feeling,
Yes.
the excitement.
Yes, it was great.
I remember my first one too, and my first listing. So I'm super excited for.
So what was your first listing?
My first listing was a for sale by owner, a private sale that I approached, and it was near my house where I was living. It was a street nearby, and I was so excited. They were great clients, and I had just my ex-wife was just she was pregnant with my first son at the time, and they got me a playpen thing, and great clients. It was a great experience overall.
No kidding.
Challenging because it's for sale by owners, but no, I'll always remember that one for sure.
You, Mike?
It was a restaurant. It was called.
You sold a restaurant?
Holy
Extreme
smokes.
Pita.
Wow, that's not a typical first
That was my first one.
transaction.
Extreme Pita.
Yeah, on the South
Your
Shore.
first transaction was a selling of a restaurant?
Yeah, Extreme Pita. That was the first.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
Well, that was challenging. I mean, it's not even.
it was there for a long time. I was just happy to get the listing, but it was there for at least 8 months. It was there.
So it wasn't even a residential home.
Wow, it was the extreme.
Wow.
It was Extreme Pita. It was a highly frequent.
an
I don't even know. If, I don't even know if they.
People really
I don't even
love
know
that
if they still
pita.
exist.
Oh no, eh?
I don't know if they still exist. Back then, there was quite a few.
Mine was a family friend, and it could. Etienne always had this. Would always tell me, "Can you not bring me a square piece? Can you not bring me a problem with a square piece of land and a square house?" I've always had something with every single. Like they're extraordinary.
No, but
they're extraordinary. This was,
but wait a second.
What?
They weren't. Your transactions were not all complicated. No. That's pas. You must have had some that were just easy going.
I had one that was not complicated,
See?
and then the next few months that followed, it was very complicated. The first one was a family friend, and I did my due diligence, and I did registre foncier, and I did the whole back work end of it. I got everything laid out, and then out of nowhere, I find out that the guy who's selling he's not from here, and he never had the actual paperwork to be selling the place. So now we're at.
This was a
time.
friend. You said it was a friend of the family.
The buyer. I'm representing the buyer. And now we've got 35% of that's going to be withheld at the notary. And
welcome to real estate.
Oh man, I was sweating. But I was just really happy that things worked out. No one had to sit on the street, and no one had to stay at night in a hotel. Everything closed on time, and that was a very.
It makes me think,
rewarding
Jay. You're saying it was a family member or a family friend at your first transaction. Most you and I would like to know if can I name the broker that maybe not but I would be interested in knowing if this broker is it a family friend? Do we know? Or
I think it's a buddy of his. Nonetheless, but so therein lies, when you sold your first place, there was no social media. There was no hey guys, you have to knock on everyone's. I just sold this place, right? That's what you would do
pretty much.
So you want to know what he should do. And what you can do now is 1,000,000 times more than you can do.
Oh, absolutely. And but I wanted to go down the road of discussing this, that when you start in real estate, typically, obviously not for you and for me, which is unique, but most of the time your first few transactions are from family members or friends or past co-workers and so you end up with 2-3 of these because of the build-up while you were doing your course, the excitement of you spoke to everybody, you shared. As you say today, it's easier to share the news of, I'm studying to be a real estate broker. But the reality comes a 6 to 9 month window when you've exhausted that
The bag
built
of
up.
marbles
Yeah.
starts to sit
For
empty.
you, Doje, was that the situation? Because
Well,
what
for
about
me,
your
it was, I
second
was
and
very
third?
lucky, right? I mean, I thought it was, first of all, I thought it was going to be a walk in the park. I said, I'm on TV. I'm on radio.
That's
I'm
true.
On, I said, it's going to be, and everyone said, this is going to be you. And you saw, when you start, everyone goes, well, I'm going to use you. Well, I'm going to use you. Well, I'm going to use you. And they end up maybe not using you because they they know you from somewhere else. If you're spinning the latest and emerging new rock, maybe you may not see that person in that role. But nonetheless, a lot of mine in the beginning were people that I knew that had great confidence in me from things that I'd done in the past. And I was very thorough. I was very, very thorough, very upfront, very accommodating, and still am.
Yeah.
But slowly and surely, I started marketing outwards because I could see that basket emptying.
But your second, your third, your fourth. Do you remember if they were okay?
Strangers?
What about you, Mike?
Well, you didn't use the media at all?
I thought this was a no-brainer. I said, and everyone thought this was a no-brainer. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Everyone thought this was a no-brainer. I think of some Olympic athletes.
Yeah.
Chris in the South Shore, okay, Olympic athlete. We talked about training and being serious and being in it, and I mean, he's an all-star. He's a huge broker, and you wonder if that sets the tone. Like, well, if you've done something before in the eye, you'll be better off served. I felt I was under more kind of scrutiny than anything else. Like, well, why would you want to do that? Well, because I'm only, like, it's an indie rock show with no commercials, so I can't retire on this. I got to do something with my life, So for me, I thought, part of me thought, well, this will be fine. The phone's just gonna ring. I had an office,
but you never spoke.
And it never.
But did you use that media or the many
you use the
medias?
platform to talk about it?
Well, no, I never used the platform to talk about it because.
So how were people supposed to know?
Well, I used it through my channels. I used it through my social media.
Okay.
Social media existed. It wasn't MySpace. It was what we know 8 years ago, right? So that really helped out. And then I started doing radio ads on other stations. I was buying ad time.
Oh, okay.
The Gazette. Did a lot of outreach.
Yeah.
And that started helping me. So it wasn't all friends all the time.
So you, Mike, that you thought the restaurant, the pita, Extreme Pita,
Yeah.
was that a friend or a family member or something?
It was well at the
Or
time.
through a connection?
No, at the time it was my accountant had
There you
clients
go.
that were trying to sell the place, so then he referred me to his clients.
What about your second, third, fourth? Do you remember?
Then I had my mom. I had
Okay, so you did have the family.
I
in
did
there.
do the family thing also.
Up to when? When did that dry up?
Well, it started drying up at some point.
Until you stopped being invited to Christmas.
Yeah, it started drying up. I didn't have any more transactions, and then that's when I decided to start sending the pamphlets and sending those stuff, and I wasn't getting a return. And then I was wondering if a certain question, is this good for me? And
Okay.
So that's what we started talking. We started talking about this difficult question, right? And that's something we look at every single day in the marketing department with Clement and myself on how to actually blow that out, how to bundle that out, how to utilize those voice drops that you so keenly suggest. Use those postcards. Use those. Use.
And it's
grow,
so
right?
important to start doing that stuff from the get-go,
From the beginning.
even though in your pipeline, as we're discussing right now, you have these opportunities that you're gonna don't, because it's in 6 months from the start point of your marketing strategy that you're gonna reap the reward. So that's why for me, it's so important the first 2 months to really get you going on the right path of your strategy.
But it's because you have a strategy.
No, because I've experienced it so many times, and I've seen
a lot of brokers come in, they don't have a strategy.
That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point.
That was the kickoff to exactly how you and I started talking about being a broker here. I said, listen. I said, here's what I know. I know what it takes to do it. I said, what I don't know is I have a kid, and I said I have another job, and I'm trying to do all these things. I said I need the recipe. But I don't want to go through all the Post-its on the table and pick an avenue that might not work. I said, give me the recipe and let's go.
But you came,
Yeah.
Correct me here because I don't remember, but you came when it was already a problem, or you felt that it was a problem. I'm going to give you another example. You don't go to a financial institution when you need money.
Yeah.
You go before when times are good and you have transactions to go get the money. You go borrow.
It had just started picking up.
So
I just finished it. No, that's not true. It had picked up. I had just finished a second season of a cooking show I was hosting, and I said, if I'm going to make a change, it's going to be now, because after that second season, I was like, how many more?
Okay,
can
so
we
you
do?
were ahead of the
Yeah,
problem.
Yeah, and I usually like to be. I don't like. No one wants to be on a leaking ship, and having done enough of this for long enough,
Yeah.
I tend to.
But that's not typical of
No,
what I see. Usually is the problem's there, and now it's like, oh, I need a quick fix, or I need to solve this fast.
It's like the thing you mentioned about the bank. My dad always used to tell me, when a bank pre-approves you for a credit card or something like that, take it, because when you'll actually need it,
Yeah,
they won't give you.
I agree. I agree 100%.
That's fun, isn't it? So true, though, right?
And they will come to you when you
Yeah.
don't need it, because they know that you're doing well, and so it's
Can we
you're
name
not a
banks?
risk.
I got a few on there that I'd like to. As a young entrepreneur, at some point in time, I had my dealings with them as well. But we got a question here. So, what can a new broker expect from their first transaction?
Expect from their first transaction?
Yeah, a paycheck. No. What can you expect from your first transaction? You can expect a lot of questions that you did not know existed prior to. If you've not bought a house and you're helping somebody with a transaction, it might be a lot of things that you've never run into before.
Yeah, I think I agree with what you're saying, in the sense of you can expect a multitude of things, because every transaction, every scenario of a transaction is unique in a way. There's, as you said very clearly earlier, you said that most of your transactions were a tad complicated or challenging, with different new things and new scenarios that popped up.
Yeah.
I think that's something to be expected, that oh, I don't know all the answers to the whatever I'm
It's not
presented.
just what you've learned. Don't forget, like, what you've learned, you'll hold on to forever. There's so many things that I still
But
hold
it's
on to, but it's a small part
Yeah.
of the actual psychology that goes into the whole thing. I mean, how many times? What there was a mouse? I didn't know there was a mouse. I don't want this anymore. There was a mouse in this house.
Yeah.
Like, it's on the mountain. It's on the mountain.
Yeah,
It might have
when
been
dealing with humans, when you're dealing with the public, you never can tell or know or foresee what's gonna fall on your lap.
You gotta adapt.
You have to be
This is
able to
true,
adapt, and so
There's
yeah.
no real course on that. There's no real. I mean, that's
No.
through talking with other brokers too. Like, who did you turn to when you had these? I mean,
Scenarios.
the first one's the burrito, the extreme burrito. Like,
Yeah.
who do you troubleshoot this with?
I went through my books. I called the teacher once to ask
There you go.
questions to find out, how do I count the inventory? Do I ask them what the inventory is? I got to take pictures of all the items that they have that's within the sale. Like, it was a complicated thing. I made mistakes, along the way, but you learn from them.
I want to pick up on what you just said. I made mistakes. You're going to make mistakes.
Are you allowed?
You're allowed to make
Are we human?
mistakes. You're gonna yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And so to expect mistakes is a good way of. But you struggled with the not wanting to
Make mistakes.
appear to have make a mistake, or
Oh no, I that's my.
no, but you were
But
trying
that's
to be
my
perfect.
problem.
You were
That's my
trying to be
problem. That's
perfect.
my
Well, I think it's everybody's problem.
Like,
A vast majority want to not make a mistake, but it's
because we don't
impossible.
allow people to make mistakes anymore. But when I said, "Oh, we're human," I'm being
Right.
sarcastic. We don't allow, like, where I come from, in terms of like my back history of professional work. You do not make
No,
a
but
mistake.
Jay, when you make a mistake, it's impossible. You never make mistakes. It's not the end of the world. Like,
Well, I know that now. I've come into the world where I see it like,
no, but even in your previous environment,
nah,
you're cut right away.
well, it's live. It's real. It's like you are there. You're not.
But
You're
you
not
never
in,
made
Churchill
blunders
Manitoba.
of words or names or.
Well, I mean, you may make the brief, which was kind of my reluctancy to doing so many lives, because they're not prepared. They're not prepared. They're not rehearsed. They're not written. They're
Yeah.
not scripted. We're talking about elections. I have no election news in front of me. But reluctancy to that is that's not. I'm not accustomed to that. I'm not accustomed to being in front of this and being like, "Hey, what's going on?"
It's a great question. Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, Maria.
Well, there you go. That's why it's great.
We this week we capitalized on 3 great days of the lead assist program.
Well, it was sharing. We did I
Yeah.
did 3 sessions of sharing what the leads program is and what it was based on, and I gave away how to go about doing it yourself. And I really enjoyed it, and I wish I could do more of these things. To be honest, I said this morning to the team. I said,
Yeah.
please book me some more, because I love to share these kinds of things where, okay, you can do it. Here's how you do it. Please do it. Why not? I mean, if it's good for you, it's going to end up being good for me in the end. The more you give, the more you shall
I think
receive.
we're gonna do more of those. I think we're gonna do more of those with marketing. I think we're gonna do more of those with the leads for sure.
Anything.
We're gonna do more video content too for the website. I know a lot of people have been reaching out. I've got a long list of people to get to in terms of introducing you to marketing. So we'll be getting to that as well. Postcards, you gotta start thinking of these things.
Yes, you got to start planning your Christmas, your holidays, your 3 months down the road stuff. Not
Not just that.
the.
You don't want to be planning for Halloween right now.
No,
Buy the
it's too
pumpkins,
late.
Drop them off if you want.
It's too late.
Too late. Yeah.
So always 3 to 6 months ahead. Saint Valentin. What's the next stuff? Easter. I know people are thinking, well, that's far down the. No, you got to start planning it now so that your strategy actually yields something positive in the end.
We work our calendars out 3 months in advance. Here.
It should be. If
We
it
can
was
do
up
more.
to me.
Yeah. Well, I got my winter tires. I got my winter tires on today.
It's true.
And I got my winter tires, my summer tires booked for the first week of May.
There you go.
You know, you gotta have it lined up, otherwise things get messy. We have this week. We have there's a. Are we mentioning tonight? No, we're not mentioning tonight. We don't really have. We have our running crew, which was supposed to happen today.
Yeah.
And well, look, it's not the right time.
It's the election.
It's a weird week because we got Thanksgiving, we
Yeah.
got the election. So we're gonna do our first kickoff to the running club on next Tuesday, the 11th. Tuesday.
From where? From here?
Gabriel decided that yesterday.
Okay.
We're cutting you out.
All right. That's okay. But let's.
You can be the owner, but we're gonna start cutting you out of some of these things. But
What about the book club?
So the book club, we have it's up on the Quad Neuf. I want you to go on. I want you to write in an idea for a book, because Etienne, he's I mean, look, he reads more than all of us. I don't know. I'm answering for you. What do you want? The question is, we have to find a book that's going to be good for everybody. And is it David Goggins? We've already done that one. Is it?
No, let's pick a new one. No.
Pick a new one. Who do you
Well,
want
I'll
to do?
pick it, but I need to know. Are we using an app? Who's joining? Who's doing it? When are we doing
Call
it?
is out there. If you want to be part of the book club, simply answer.
Okay.
Put your name down. From there, we'll take it from there. If you want to be part of the running club, put your name down. We'll take it from there. But we are running on Tuesday, right on time.
Done.
Tuesday from Westmount, 4:30, which means we are going to have to do the podcast earlier. Wait, do it earlier, finally?
I think we should start doing it at 12 or what, like we said.
Let's do that. Oh, do we have our? Are we doing our challenge too?
That's next week.
That's next week.
Everything's next week. We're gonna just go through Thanksgiving, and then hit it off last stretch to the year.
I love that. Be right in time for our Easter bods, eh? Is that what we're?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That sums it up for today. We are onto the French version.
Thank you.